Good morning. My name is David Halley. I'm the head of international partnerships at a not-for-profit organization in the United Kingdom called Business in the Community. I'm from a country that probably very few of you will have visited. I am a New Zealander, but I have lived in England for 40 years and travel an awful lot for my job, which is the development of a network of partners around the world. And I'm delighted to be here today in Istanbul to tell you about what we're doing. Our organization is called Business in the Community, and we are a membership organization founded in 1982 to bring business resources to address social and environmental problems. And we have around 850 member companies, most of whom are multinational companies, and many of whom, of course, are already very active in Turkey, so we will be able to create links there in the future. What I wanted to talk about was 2 or 3 projects which we have developed in the United Kingdom, and I should say that our organization, Business in the Community, based in London, acts very much as a hub for processes, ideas, toolkits, themes and approaches for our network of partners. And so everything that we do, we're delighted to share with our partners around the world, including, of course, in Istanbul. Helped us to develop the programs that I'm going to tell you about are particularly the problems experienced in the most disadvantaged communities in the United Kingdom, particularly around London, and in particular the kind of educational needs and failures, if you like, that those disadvantaged communities are experiencing. The first real concrete issue that we identified in the United Kingdom, and this was some years ago, was that young children between the ages of, say, 12 and 16, 13, 14, 15, were not only failing in their exams, and I should say that the first major public examination in the United Kingdom is called the General Certificate for Secondary Education, the GCSE. And this is across a number of subjects, and children come up to this generally at age 16, and that then enables them to go on to further examinations on into tertiary education or employment. But it's a critical examination for them. The problem that we identified, particularly in the most disadvantaged communities in the United Kingdom, was that young people were simply not attending class enough. They were, as we say, bunking off class. Therefore, they were very unprepared when it came to exam time. They would either fail in their exams or do extremely poorly. So these generally were the kind of needs that we identified that we wanted to focus, as I said, our member companies' resources on. The first program that I want to tell you about, which has enabled us to increase significantly the number of companies that we work with, is a program which we call Seeing is Believing. The way that Seeing is Believing works, and once again, this is a process, we have a toolkit and we're delighted to share this with our partners around the world. The way that Seeing is Believing works is that we put 20 senior business executives into a bus and we take them out for the day to see for themselves what the problems are, either educationally, socially or environmentally in the community where, of course, their company is doing business. And then we take them back at the end of the day, it's a full day, and we get them into a meeting room and we say, what is your company and what are you personally going to do about this? The first thing you should do is to join our movement at Business in the Community, and then let us figure out how you are going to help in the community. That process is called Seeing is Believing. The result that it's had for us as an organization always seeking to grow is that we've been able to take our membership over the last 6 years from 250 companies to 850 companies. So for us, that's a fantastic result and it's a great, great program. Okay, so let me tell you how it works. And the source of inspiration for this particular program was a head teacher. We took a small group of companies out to visit a school in South London, a school in the middle of a very ethnically diverse community, a lot of poverty, a lot of children bunking off school, as I said before. And the business leaders were talking to the head teacher, and they were saying to the head teacher, here we are with all our resources, what can we do to help you do your job best? And the head teacher said, my big problem right now is the young, particularly the young boys. It's not cool to stay in school, and so they bunk off, they go fishing or God knows what, but they're not attending school, so they're not passing their exams. What I would like is some kind of mentoring program to help those young people understand how important their studies are and understand how difficult it would be for them to get a job if they don't have qualifications. And so two of our companies, of our member companies, one was UBS and the other was British Telecom, said, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to provide some mentors for these young people. And so we developed a program called Roots and Wings. And that means roots in the community and wings to help the young people fly. The program started, I guess, around 8 years ago, has been running particularly in South and East London. Some of the results that we have seen, there's one particular school, in fact the school where we started, we have tracked the children over a 3-year period, children who've had mentors for 3 years, and we have found that on average their results in the GCSE exam, which I mentioned earlier, are 20 to 25% better than those of the children that have not had mentors. The other interesting thing that we've noticed is that the girls who've had mentors, and of course everybody knows that the girls are always smarter than the boys, 100% of the girls who've had mentors that we've tracked have gone on into either tertiary education or into full-time employment, compared to about 80% of the boys who've had mentors. Now that compares to 40% of the children who have not had mentors who go on into tertiary education. So it's a good program. It's one that works, and it's one that's got absolutely measurable results that we can demonstrate. The third program I'd like to talk to you about is called Engage, and I'm delighted to say that Engage will very soon be up and running very actively in Istanbul. What Engage does is to bring companies together to work collaboratively to encourage their employees to become involved in social issues in their community as volunteers. The program is now running, I guess, in about 15 European cities, including, of course, Istanbul. It's now running in Dubai, it's running successfully in Hong Kong, we'll be going very soon to Buenos Aires, we'll be going to Sydney in Australia and so on. So it will become a global program, and it's a very simple but successful idea, companies coming together to work collaboratively to help young people. I want to pick the Engage program that we're running in Paris. It's called MobiCube. And it's around the life of a mobile phone. And the inspiration for this was very interesting. 4 or 5 companies got together and they sat around a table and said, instead of us going off in each company in its own direction, let's think how collaboratively we can pool our resources to get a better effect. So the inspiration was people from the company saying, how are we going to address the problem of young people and failing in their education? This, incidentally, was as a result of the riots north of Paris in November 2005. What MobiCube does is it takes teams of people from the companies involved into high schools, particularly in the northern suburbs, Aubervilliers, Aulnay-sous-Bois and so on, in Paris, and they're talking about the life of the mobile phone. So the person from Nokia will say, here's a mobile phone. Here's how we market a mobile phone. So let's think about marketing. Let's think about the qualifications you will need if you want to have a career in marketing. And the person from the law firm, in this case DLA Piper, will say, rental contracts for mobile phones are legal documents. So what are the legal implications of mobile phones and mobile phone rentals? Let's think about the law and careers in law and the sort of qualifications you will need to pursue a career in law. The person from IBM will say the phones run on software, it's information technology. Let's think about the qualifications you may want to do and therefore exams you'll need to get to have a career, and so on. And there is an environmental aspect. There are 2 or 3 other companies working there. What we have found is that the program is very successful. It's moving on to the second phase this year. It has now been integrated formally into the technical education prospectus or curriculum in the French high school system. And I'm delighted to say that French high schools are queuing up now to have the teams come in to talk to their young people. We have tracked perceptions among the people, the students who have participated, and they're all saying it's given me new insights into how business works. It's made me think about careers that I would never have considered, and so on. So very, very strong perceptions among the young people and a very strong willingness to continue their studies. From the employees' perspective, they are saying, it has been excellent for us to understand the state of education, to understand the motivation of these young people, and to help them. So there's a big motivating factor for employees, which is a message for the companies. Now, the situation in Turkey is that we have run a pilot with our partner organisation and with the British Council, a pilot of children 11 and 12 years of age, looking at awareness of environmental problems, looking at their awareness of climate change and the impact of climate change on the planet. And the last time we polled the young people, it looked like there was something like a 92% increase in awareness of climate change, which in anybody's book is a very successful result. Now, what difference do we think we've created? Well, I talked about exam results. I've talked about how motivated the employees are, which encourages their companies to do more in the community. They have resources, they have skills, etc. So that's good. And particularly in the case of France, and I anticipate that it will be the same in Turkey, is that government partnerships with business are being created that weren't there before to bring additional synergy and power to what we're doing. I'm delighted to say that the pilot project in Istanbul for Engage will be joining the global movement that we're setting up, and it will be, as I said, bringing environmental awareness to young people. And it's a most impressive group of extremely impressive companies that will be collaborating, and that's the other good thing, is collaboration between the companies, and they will include Citibank, HSBC, Boyna Holdings, Delta Echo, Netron Technologies, Nurol Holding, and of course I'm delighted to say the British Council. Problems? Well, one of the problems we've had with Roots and Wings is that mentors leave, they get promoted, they go to work overseas, and so we're left halfway through a mentoring program, a young person without a mentor. How do we replace the mentor? Sometimes there is a personality clash where the match between the mentor and the mentee or the pupil doesn't work, and so on. Sometimes, for various reasons, parents will say after 2 or 3 months, no, they don't want their child to be mentored, and so on. So there are issues that have to be worked around, but you know, that's life. I was asked to comment about, when you set up the program, did you know that you would succeed? As in all these things, we did not know that we would succeed, but as President Obama has said, hope, and yes, we can. We thought we could succeed. One thing that we found that was very important was to know what the starting point was, so that we could measure how far we'd got and how well we had succeeded. So we knew that X% of children were failing in the GCSE exam. Following the results, we know that we've been able to improve that by a certain percentage. So always important to know what your starting point is so that you can measure clearly what your success has been. Finally, I've been asked at my advanced stage to think about what sort of advice I would offer to young people, and I've thought an awful lot about that. I have young people of my children, and I have very young people of my grandchildren. But particularly, I think, to young people, adolescents, young people starting their careers, I would say everybody is technologically very aware and very skilled today. I see my own children. For them, computers are just like the refrigerator. They're tools which they use intuitively and in a way that I never could. My advice would be, in addition to the technological skills that you will acquire and which you will need, don't forget the human skills, don't forget the social skills, don't forget the coaching skills, the way in which you motivate people, because that will be important as you make your career. Thank you very much.